Hello, and thank you for watching Accelerate with Nerdio. In today's video, we're going to discuss how you can detach or delete data disks in Azure. Please remember to check the video details for additional links and updates. Also, please visit help.nerdio.net for all of our articles and videos, and we have a lot of great stuff at that site. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So our agenda today, we're going to review what data disks look like in the NAP. We'll review what data disks look like in Azure, and then we'll look at those options to detach or delete data disks. We'll go ahead and jump right into the portal. We're in the servers blade here, and we can see we've got FS01. It's got an OS disk and 2 data disks. If we ever wanted to add an additional data disk, it's simply the drop-down with the Add Disk option. You can choose the series and size, and that would show up as data disk 3, or depending on where you're dropping it at, data disk 1, and then continue sequentially. You'll notice we don't have an option to delete disk here, and that's really more of a partner protection. We want to make sure that you're able to have someone who is authorized and accountable to be able to make a change that could have that kind of impact on production. So in the scenario where you want to detach a disk, which means remove it from being associated with a server but not lose the disk itself, or if you need to delete a disk, you will do it through the Azure portal. And let's look at those steps. So if I'm looking here in my resource group, let's go to FS01. So I've got virtual machine FS01. And let's go ahead and give that a second to load. We'll go to disks. And this will show us the disks associated in Azure with that virtual machine. We'll give that a second to load. And here we go. So we see we've got that OS disk, and we've got those 2 data disks, a premium 128 and a standard 128. If we go back to the NAP, OS disk, and then premium and standard 128s. So again, let's say we want to detach the disk. Either way, so let's back up one step. To delete a disk in Azure, it does need to be detached from the virtual machine. So if you're simply going to delete the disk, you would still detach it. But if you wanted to associate that disk with another virtual machine, once you detach it, you can actually attach it. And so let's look at attaching and detaching, and then we'll look at deleting. So again, data disk 0, which is the standard SSD 128, we're going to click the X here, which detaches it from VM FS01. We hit save. We'll give that a minute to update. If we refresh the NAP, we should see that that data disk is no longer associated with that virtual machine. And we see that, right? We just have the 1 data disk now. So let's say that we want to actually add that data disk to virtual machine LOB1 here. So we'll give Azure a chance to catch up, and we'll go to LOB1. And then from LOB1, much like we did with FS01, we'll go to disks. And then here, we'll have an option to attach. Give that a chance to catch up. Okay, we see LOB1, it has its OS disk, no data disks. So let's attach existing disks. This will show me disks that are available to attach, so basically detached. We select that FS01 data disk, we hit save. We'll see that Azure's updating that machine, and if we come here and refresh again, we'll see that we've got that data disk attached to LOB1. Excellent, we've made that shift. Now again, let's focus on actually deleting it this time. So if we came back in here, we would detach it, hit save. Let's go back to our resource group, and let's look at our disks. So there's FS01 data disk 0. This is the one we've been working with. And again, we can confirm that we know it's a 128 standard SSD. There it is. It's not attached to anything. So now we can choose delete. It will ask us if we want to delete it. We'll see that this is running. And then again, we can come into the NAP, hit refresh, and we should be back to just the 1 data disk on FS01 and just the OS disk on LOB, right? Perfect. That disk has now been removed. If needed, we could always create another one, but that is the step. So detaching is necessary to delete, and detaching can also be used to shift a resource around to another virtual machine. I appreciate everyone taking the time to watch today's lesson, and again, help.nerdio.net for additional information. Thank you.